I wonder how Stan Lee feels about all this.
Don't make me come down there, you punk!
Phone's ringing, and I'm not gonna answer it. Hi guys, it's Sarah, and it must be a blue moon because I'm making a video, but I am just ticked off enough to make one, so here we are. So if you haven't been keeping up with like news lately, apparently Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola have come out and basically just publicly announced their detestment towards Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, if it isn't obvious enough as it is, I am a pretty big Marvel fan. What gave that away? And yes, I'm aware Deadpool is technically not a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but he is part of Marvel, and I do have a Black Panther shirt on underneath, so there you go. So basically, Martin Scorsese started this whole thing by saying that he thinks MCU is not cinema, and then Francis Ford Coppola came in and said, you know, that with movies we expect to learn something, gain enlightenment and knowledge, and how he doesn't see how someone can gain that from watching the same movie over and over, and he called MCU despicable. Now, I just want to give a little disclaimer that I do, without a doubt, think that Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola are some of the greatest directors ever. They have made plenty of movies that I am a fan of, but I don't agree with them here at all. I understand that everybody has their own opinions, and you know, nothing is gonna be able to grab everybody's attention, and not everybody's gonna like everything. But I just want to say that just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's inherently bad. There are plenty of movies that are great, and I'm not a fan of them, but I am not gonna sit here and shit on them. They're just not for me. I also think it's interesting how Coppola said it's the same movie over and over, but I'm not sure if y'all have ever heard the term, there's the same 7 stories, and they're just told in different ways. And basically, MCU is just basically just a retelling of the hero's journey. They're not the only movies that do that. Harry Potter does it, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, like even Ghostbuster technically follows the hero's journey. This is just MCU's way of telling it. And even though, yeah, it's technically the same story over and over, there is variations, and every one of the Marvel superhero stories is different. And each superhero has their own personality, morals, and sometimes they even clash. I mean, that's basically what Civil War is about. It's not the same character just over and over. You know, Tony's story of becoming Iron Man is very different from Steve's story of becoming Captain America, and that's different from T'Challa's story of being Black Panther, and so on, so on. And part of the reason why that makes Marvel Cinematic Universe so great is that there is something for everybody. If you don't relate to one character, you may relate to another. Not to mention that a lot of talent and effort goes into making these movies, and I'm not gonna sit here and praise every single film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's ones that I'm not a fan of, but there are also ones that are just amazing. And that's basically what James Gunn said in his rebuttal towards the whole Scorsese Coppola thing. Also, it takes a lot of knowledge to connect all these movies together. I mean, with anybody else connecting these movies, there would have been plot holes or just something that doesn't add up. So it does take intelligence to make a universe within a series of movies to this depth. But basically, I think what it comes down to is that Stan Lee made Marvel Comics as a place for those looking to belong. And he really did just create a community with Marvel, and he inspired millions of people. Like, no person has really had an influence on generations the way Stan Lee did, and that's not to undermine what other great directors and creators like Scorsese and Coppola do, but just them shitting on MCU, for me at least, kind of feels a little bit disrespectful to Stan Lee, because nobody has able to do what he's done, and you can't deny how powerful his comics are. And yeah. And like, even if you don't like these movies, like, how can you be like so hateful towards them that you call them despicable? They're not hurting anybody. Not to mention, oh, it's the same story and over. You could say that for like any genre. You could say that for horror films. You could say that for like action cop films like Die Hard and Terminator or whatever. And I think it's just what comes down to is that MCU is here to stay, and whether you like it or not, it has gotten people into filmmaking. As somebody who loves both Marvel and just filmmaking as in general, I can say that these are great movies for the most part, so you can either embrace them or ignore them. And obviously, you know, Coppola and Scorsese are in no way gonna listen to someone like me, but I figured I'd just get my 2 cents out there. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this and listening to me rant. I'm gonna go change because I'm getting hot in this onesie, and see y'all later.